There's a sorcerer causing trouble down in Helmgart. Can't remember his name. Pretty sure Lona makes these things up anyway. Whatever the bugger calls himself,
Hello.
apparently he's whipping up a
Back
toxic
with
mist to
another
drown the whole city.
CataTide.
Which means me and mine get to play hide the pointy implement with his rotten hide until he takes no for an answer.
And we're gonna go play hide the pointy implement with Mr. Halescourge.
Does it not worry you that we've come so
Rocking
close to
Grail Knight again in this marathon of Grail Knight that I plan on uploading. This is the third one in a batch that I'm doing. I was wondering if I was, gonna be uploading them all back to back to back, and now that I'm mentioning it, I suppose I kind of have to, right? So, people are coming onto the channel who are looking for a little bit of variety. I apologize, but it's just gonna be a bunch of Grail Knight right now at the moment. I figured I just got done giving it to Mr. Rib Spreader, so I figured why not give it to Mr. Halescourge as well. Wow, he just ate that overhead. No, I can't. You can't go down now, Dwarf. You haven't given me any ale yet. I want that ale. Oh, you actually given me one ale. Give me that. Eh, get out of here, assassin. What are you thinking? You and all your kid. Where's the rest of the ale, Dwarf? Gonna get this guy. Thank you, Dwarf. So, I know I'm backtracking here a little bit, but sometimes when I do this mission, I like to do this jump, because there's very often items that spawn right down here, and then I will cut across. There's items that spawn in this little crate sometimes. There's items that spawn over here on these tables. Nobody, ever goes this way. So, if there's ever, items that spawn over here, you're almost guaranteed that, they're going to be yours. And then what I do is when I'm up here, I'll kind of jump off this ledge here. You'll see me do it in just a moment. And as I jump off the ledge, I look over to the other platform that's directly ahead, and I'll see if there's items in that little crate over there as well, that little flaming box. Sometimes there's items that spawn in there as well. Oh, that's a lot of ale that you're dropping all of a sudden. So I'm not going to jump off just yet, because the bots will get trapped up here, and then they'll get wrecked by this horde, trying to keep up with me. You never want to confuse the pathing of the AI when they're in the midst of engaging enemies. They'll always try to prioritize following you over fighting, and then of course if they're busy trying to follow you and there's an item that's harassing them and stuff, they're just gonna get wrecked. So like I said, I jump down here, I check this table, I check up there, and then I'll kind of cut across here. If no one else has, usually people go this way because the tome's back here. But I'll check this little bench here too for items. Sometimes there's stuff that spawns there. Man, I really wasn't that close to the tome, was I? sometimes when you get close to the books, the bots will just kind of automatically grab them. And then when I am in this area, very often nobody checks back here. It is a little bit out of the way, but sometimes there's items that spawn right here. So it can pay some time to check there. There's items that spawn in the back. So it's this, this is also a little bit out of the way, because everybody comes up here, they always just head right to the elevator. But there are items that spawn over here sometimes. Get out of here, sit down. But here you go, there's items that spawn over here sometimes. And it kind of checks to, have, somebody kind of check all those locations. Obviously it's easier when you have people splitting up and sharing the responsibility of checking all those locations.
Tell me, Kruber.
And quite often, if you're the only one that's checking all those locations, you might find yourself a little bit behind. What are you talking about? Hostile. This is one guy. So you know, sometimes it might be better to just kind of keep pace with the team than to be searching for all those items. But you know, they are there. If you ever have the time to look for them, they are items that are you know, they spawn in those locations. And I kind of wanted to talk something about kind of what I was talking about last game. Just a little bit. I was talking about how I use Lady's Wrath for my temp HP. And I know a lot of people prefer to use the Stagger talent, which is Lady's Generosity, in order to generate temp HP, because you know most people think that, you know, that's just the superior talent to use in like any case, and it's not. So very often throughout my time playing Vermintide, I have seen Grail Knights who will run Lady's Generosity, and then they'll take these really big hits throughout a match, right? And they'll be sitting on like critical HP, like I'm talking like, you know, 20, 30, 40 HP, around that range. And I'll see them be, you know, taking point, and they're running Lady's Generosity, and very often I'll see them with Executioner Swords or Bretonnian Longsword, and I'll see them just killing enemy after enemy, and I think to myself, and they hover at that really low critical HP, and I think to myself, like, why are you running staggered temp HP if you're not going to generate any? Like, you know, with your shield, and you know, of course they're running a shield, they have the ability to generate that temp HP, but they're not doing anything to generate it. And just because, you know, you're dealing with like single enemy units, it doesn't mean that you still shouldn't be using your shield to stagger them a little bit and try to generate some HP. You're literally generating nothing by using your sword and killing your enemies in one hit. And it's kind of like leads me into just talking about like what the right choice for your temp HP talent should be in general. You kind of need to analyze your playstyle a little bit with whatever weapon you're using, and of course this takes knowledge about the weapon that you are using. But you kind of need to ask yourself, like, first of all, what am I having trouble with? Am I having trouble with hordes of Skaven slaves? Am I having trouble with elites that are kind of like little ambient elites that are like strewn across the map? If you're having trouble with maintaining HP during the downtime, I swear I thought the dwarf just jumped right off into the hole there. Does everybody else notice that? Yeah, I thought he was going right off the edge there. But if you find yourself killing elites, right, like fairly often, it can be real beneficial for you to run on-kill temp HP talents, because obviously elites with on-kill are going to give you the most HP. You know, any on-kill, the on-kill HP talents are of course based on the health of your slain enemy. So, Storm Vermin, Chaos Maulers, you know, Berserkers are all going to give you a lot of HP. Chaos Warriors are going to give you a shit ton of HP. So if you find yourself very often taking Chaos Warriors out on kill temp HP might be the thing that you should run. And if you ever need HP, you're definitely going to get it if you're the one that's taking out those elites like fairly often. If you're playing a career that does in fact make short work of such enemies, then you'll get a lot of use out of that temp HP talent. If you are playing a playstyle that where you're going up against hordes and such, and you're not like staggering them as much as you are killing them, again, on kill is going to be better. On kill kind of falls short when you're going up against Skaven slaves in particular. On kill is probably going to be like the only weakness for on kill temp HP talent is going to be against like Skaven slaves. But I mean, it's good versus like just damn near everything else as long as you're getting those kills, right?
Some healing help.
Excuse me, Gruber. You're making it worse.
And stagger temp HP is going to, naturally, it has the most oomph, right? You're going to get a lot of use out of it when you come across large groups of enemies. And my bombs are just not... They've just not been on point, like, at all during this session. That was a little bit better one. But stagger temp HP suffers during downtime when, when there are, like, hardly no enemies to stagger. And you might think, well, that hardly ever happens. It can happen more often than you think, especially if you have teammates that are making very short work of hordes. You might find yourself not able to reliably generate stagger temp HP, like you might have a battle wizard that just is obliterating fat groups of enemies in like just a couple seconds. You might have an engineer who's gunning them down or using bombs. There's all kind. I don't know why I'm going up here. There's all kinds of situations where oh, you know what, I guess I should get a Grim, huh? I don't want to disappoint the lady. I can't really reliably get the second Grim, so I guess I should go for the first one real quick. It's a little out of the way, but I've disappointed the lady before, and things almost always go awry. But yeah, like I was explaining earlier, like I've seen Grail Knights who only kill things and they're still running stagger temp HP, and then they generate nothing, and then all it takes is one single hit and they go down. Like it's you got to understand what kind of play style you're utilizing.
Anyone else want to carry this thing?
Like, take for example, I have another build where I use mainly the sword and shield here, right? Where I use the Bretonnian sword and shield. I got a couple videos where I only use the sword and shield, and I use stagger temp HP when I run that build, because obviously I'm running shield. I'm actually using it. I'm not killing enemies as much as I am staggering them. That's kind of the question you got to ask yourself. Am I staggering enemies more than I'm killing them, or am I killing enemies more than I'm staggering them? And like I said, you kind of have to dissect your play a little bit. You got to understand what kind of play style you're wanting to achieve, and you got to choose the right temp HP talent to fit that play style. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a less than efficient situation where you could be generating a lot more HP for certain mistakes, and you know, obviously that can be helping you in all kinds of situations.
Bet that's an assassin out here. Gamer slaver.
Yeah, get out of here with the flurry attack. As I've mentioned in I think a previous video in this session, I'm running Opportunist. Sometimes I run Swift Slaying. In a lot of the earlier Grail Knight videos that I've uploaded, I've run Swift Slaying, but I'm running Opportunist in this particular build. Mostly, literally only just for those Plague Monks. There's not many stagger breakpoints that, with Bretonnian Longsword, you're going to hit. It's already like a really strong weapon. It deals a lot of stagger. So that combined with you know, the power verses that I do run, you know, I'm pretty much staggering like everything that I'm going to be able to stagger, really, even without Opportunist. But with Opportunist, I can stagger the Plague Monks out of their flurry attacks, which can be very beneficial in certain circumstances where Plague Monks are prevalent. But otherwise, it can be a lot more beneficial to run that Swift Slaying. But I want 100% guaranteed effectiveness against Plague Monks, so I'm running Opportunist. And a lot of people don't know about this jump, but if you take the left path after you come down here, you can still check what's on the right path by getting on this top step and jumping on top of this wall. And it just kind of lets you check what's on the right side. Sometimes there's items that spawn over there. Don't blast my bot. Okay. Hey, he's blasting him. Alright, he lives with 25 HP. That's all that matters. Yeah, get the storm rolling for me. We're coming up on Burble Spew. Old Burble Spew Halescourge. Bastard's been stealing books from Loader's collection. Oh, we gotta bring him back. I think that's like one of the voice, one of the opening voice lines that I think if Loner's introducing the mission to you, I think he explains. I might be thinking of a different mission. Come on. There we go. Yeah, they're so scared sometimes. They know what's coming. So very often when I go up against those warp fire throwers, as you just saw, I'll kind of like hold on to my attack. I'll get on his one open side that gives me a better attack on his head, and I'll kind of hold on to it just for a second until he kind of straightens out, just so I don't hit the fuel tank and have it explode in my face. What I do on Legend is very different. What I do on Legend is when I knock them out of their attack animation. Oh, elf! That's fine. We still told him to sit down. What I do on Legend is when I knock them out of their attack animation, I actually aim for their ankle. I do it sometimes here on Cataclysm still. but it's not a it's never like a one-shot body shot on Cataclysm. So you gotta hit him in the head on Cataclysm to one-shot them. Let me get, and let's get healing droughts on all of them. Come on. Just so, as always, so they can heal fast in case they happen to go down.
That's one Chaos Warrior. Good killing, good fellows.
I keep hearing you speak of the weed. Yes. Know what it is?
Eating. I keep on joining my Halloween ritual.
And this guy doesn't even know what's about to come to him. About to run this fool for his shoes.
Nice with you and your blasted
Run him for his sneaks.
You're lost at sea, mate.
Where'd you go? I'm gonna use this right away. Why not? So, if you can line them up right, his little like mirage attacks there, his little toxic attacks actually can't go through the posts here. He was kind of like standing inside when he did it to me, but they actually can't go through these little wooden posts here. So if you kind of like hide behind them, if they hit the wooden post dead on, they'll blow up on the post. So here, I'll try to line that up with them. Yeah, see how I kind of blew up on the post before it got to me. Otherwise, you know, they're still pretty easy to dodge. I mean, so I would love to target him, but unfortunately these elites will easily overwhelm my bots who are trying to cover me, and if the bots can't reliably cover me, then the elites start to bug me while I'm trying to attack him. So I gotta try to keep the bots alive if I can, if I want to do any damage on him during those down phases where he's just kind of hanging about. And you know, this happened last time I faced him, and I'm gonna knock him out of it with my attack, maybe. Nope. Okay. You know, go ahead and get him, guys. Go ahead, just take him out. There you go. Good job. So that happens whenever he is in his attack animation and you kind of stagger him out of it. So you notice that the Unchained did her ult, and that staggered him, and he kind of didn't know what to do after that. He was a little stunned. He was phased. He didn't know what to do. He was flabbergasted, gobsmacked. And let's get a celebratory heal on the wizard.
I should cauterize this wound later.
That's right. You deserve it. And that's another boss in the bag. If you stuck around that whole video and watched that whole thing, I appreciate you watching. If you just kind of skip to the end here to see what the stats are, I appreciate you clicking nonetheless on the video. Yeah, real quick one. Halescourge is a pretty short mission. It's it's mostly just him at the end, and you know, it's sometimes if you don't have the right setup, you know, that boss mission can take a little while, but you know, luckily Kruger, Grail Knight, the monster that he is, has no trouble dealing with him, especially if you have a a wizard that can stun him out of his attack animations, and he just kind of stands there. That's crazy. I can't believe that's happened twice now on my recording. In any case, I appreciate you watching. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. GG.